Welcome to another edition of Quick Picks with Just Facts Combat, your go-to source for fast, expert fight predictions backed by real analysis. This week's UFC card features a can't-miss main event between two elite, top-ranked bantamweights. If you know anything about how stacked the 135-pound division is, then you already understand why this matchup is something special. For the first fight of the card we have Juliana Miller v Ivana Petrovic. Guys, I like Miller's character. She has heart, but she's too green for this level. Her grappling is solid, but she lacks striking and overall polish. She's too easy to hit and strikes as if she has a blindfold on. Petrovic is the better striker and can hold her own on the ground. She's too well-rounded for Miller, whose inexperience and lack of skill on this level will show once again. Petrovic should dominate, possibly finishing late or cruising to a decision. Final prediction: Ivana Petrovic via decision or submission. Thomas Petersen vs Don'Tale Mayes. Petersen is a wrestler who wants to drag fights to the mat, is openly aggressive on the feet with the aim to trap opponents to set this up. Mayes is the more well-rounded fighter with striking and defensive wrestling. If Mayes uses his range and avoids the takedowns, he can pick Petersen off and potentially finish him with strikes. Final prediction: Don'Tale Mayes via TKO, round 1 or 2, or decision. Gaston Bolanos vs Quang. Bolanos is flashy and dangerous going forward, but he struggles on the back foot and has a questionable gas tank. La is a well-rounded fighter with striking, power, and grappling. I see La neutralizing Bolanos with range and mixing in takedowns to sap his cardio. Unless Bolanos lands early, this is Lee's fight to win. Final prediction: Quang via decision. Marina Rodriguez vs Gillian Robertson. Tough matchup for Rodriguez. While she's the better striker, Robertson's pressure and grappling are a problem. She'll eventually close the distance, drag it down, and work toward a sub. If Rodriguez can keep range, she has a shot, but with her bad takedown defense, Robertson's relentless takedowns should wear her down eventually. Final prediction: Gillian Robertson via submission, round 2 or 3, or decision. Ryan Loder vs Azamat Bekoev. This should be a high-level grappling battle. Loder is a D1 wrestler, but Bekoev is more dangerous overall. He has striking power, top-tier grappling, dangerous ground and pound, and is far more experienced. If Loder can't control him, Bekoev should be able to keep it standing or reverse positions to do damage. His well-rounded skill set gives him the edge. Final prediction: Azamat Bekoev via decision or TKO. Yana Santos vs Miesha Tate. Not expecting fireworks here. Santos is low output and range focused. Tate uses strikes to set up takedowns. Once it hits the mat, I expect Tate to control the position. Santos has poor get-up ability. If Tate stays active, she could grind out a win or even find a sub if Santos gets too defensive. Final prediction: Miesha Tate via decision or submission. Jeremy Stephens vs Mason Jones. Stephens is past his prime. He's still powerful, but his durability is fading. Mason Jones is aggressive, younger, and fresher. Expect a slugfest, but Jones should be able to absorb more, land more, and wear Stephens down. It could be a war, but youth and durability give Jones the edge. Final prediction: Mason Jones via TKO, round 2 or 3, or decision. Cameron Smotherman vs Serhiy. This is your classic pressure fighter versus backfoot technician. Smotherman will push the pace early, but Sidey's style favors adaptation and counters. I see Sidey dropping the first round, then adjusting and taking over, stuffing takedowns and landing cleaner shots as Smotherman's aggression fades. Final prediction: Serhiy Sidey via decision. Montel Jackson vs Daniel Marcos. Montel Jackson has fight-ending power and strong wrestling. In the past, his fight IQ held him back, but lately, he's shown improvements with several first-round finishes. Marcos is undefeated and tough, but Jackson is by far the most well-rounded fighter he's faced. Marcos fights well at range and does his best work here using his opponent's aggression against them, but Montel's combination of technical striking and wrestling should overwhelm him. Final prediction: Montel Jackson via decision or TKO. Santiago Ponzinibbio vs Daniel Rodriguez. Expect a stand-up war. Both fighters prefer striking and usually avoid grappling unless necessary. Rodriguez has the cleaner boxing, better defense, and sharper counters. Ponzinibbio is wild and leaves a lot of openings, which plays right into Rodriguez's strengths. If Ponzinibbio gets rocked, he tends to brawl his way out of trouble, which could backfire here. Final prediction: Daniel Rodriguez via TKO, round 2 or 3, or decision. Reinier de Ridder vs Bo Nickal. This is a big step up for Bo Nickal. Reinier de Ridder is a former 2-division champ in 1 and has legit skills on the ground and solid striking. That said, he's never faced a wrestler like Bo. I expect Bo to test the waters on the feet, quickly realize he's outgunned, and shoot for takedowns. Ritter may accept bottom position to play jiu-jitsu, but that plays into Bo's hands. Nickal should be able to stay safe, land ground and pound, and control from the top. We might see some slick grappling exchanges, but unless Ritter snatches a sub, Nickal's top control and wrestling will win out. Final prediction: Bo Nickal via decision. Cory Sandhagen vs Deiveson Figueiredo. We've got a top-tier bantamweight showdown between two elite top 5 fighters in arguably the UFC's most stacked division. Expect a high-level contest, but I lean toward Sandhagen coming out on top. On the feet, Sandhagen should be able to pick Figueiredo apart at range, using his footwork and length to avoid the Brazilian's power. Fig will likely struggle here and resort to grappling, looking for takedowns or back control. However, Sandhagen historically only struggles with elite wrestlers, not pure grapplers, and I think Fig's jiu-jitsu won't be enough to offset Cory's striking dominance. Cardio will be a factor too. Fig has looked better at 135, but we've still seen him fade in high-paced fights, see Yan and Font bouts. Sandhagen sets a tempo that'll drain him, and once the fatigue sets in, I expect Cory to take over. Fig might get some control time or even take the back, but I don't see him securing a finish. Sandhagen should defend well and regain control. Final prediction: Cory Sandhagen via decision. TKO is possible, but Fig's durability and strength at 135 make a decision more likely.